Hey everyone, it's Soulscape here, and I know you've been waiting for it for a very long time. This is it. This is my Feral Druid World PvP / Battleground guide. This will help you to stay alive for as long as possible, burst people down in seconds, and counter the fact that we are tiny little wet noodles who get nuked down ourselves. And this is for new players and experienced players of Ferals alike. So I'll be splitting this guide up into a few parts. I'll go over talents, Azerite traits, PvP talents, and Azerite essences. And if you want to skip to the one that you kind of want to look for and you don't want to go watch for the full guide if you're not a new player, then I'll have the timestamps in the corner if you want to skip ahead. Otherwise, before this video ends up being over an hour long, I'm going to jump right in and we're going to make this as quick as possible. So with that in mind, let's start with talents. I could go on forever about why you should go with this talent or not this talent, but I'm just going to purely tell you to go this talent and why, and tell you why you don't want to go Lunar Inspiration or Predator. That's for PvE content. In fact, unfortunately, Lunar Inspiration has never been good for any time. All our damage comes from Sabertooth. We bite. Our bite, Ferocious Bite is our strongest damage ability. So you have to go with Ferocious Bite. This is how you get the big numbers. This is how you just blow people up with the 120k crits. Go Sabertooth. And that's about it for tier 15. Tier 2 talents, you have to go Wild Charge. No question else. You may think Renewal is good. Maybe it is for arenas. I'm not going to judge, but maybe it's good for arenas. And maybe Tigers, you may have fun with Tiger Dash, but it's not exactly the best talents in the world because you're a Druid. You may think Feral Druids are great because you can shift in and out of roots and CC effects. But the thing is, you're going to get kited. Even by being able to do that, you have to waste global cooldowns and say like a Hunter keeps dazing you, or a Mage keeps frozen novaing you and you get trapped. Yeah, you can shift out of it, but you won't be able to keep up with them. You're wasting global cooldowns. You'll never be able to damage them. It's going to be pointless. You have to go Wild Charge to stay on target. Leaping is so important. Leaping is so good, especially for my other builds that I do for getting away in combat. Travel form, your stag form allows you to leap, which is huge. Oh, let me just out of here. This little ability here, where you leap, is just so huge. You can combine it with a parachute. You can get so much distance for kiting and staying on target. It's huge. You have to go Wild Charge. Like I said, I could talk forever about why you should go this or that. Tier 3 talents. Now this is up to you. You can go Guardian Affinity or Resto Affinity. And this really depends on your personal playstyle. Guardian Affinity is for if you're in groups. Like if you're in a group and you have a healer or you have other DPS with you, then you can get away with going Guardian Affinity. Because you don't need all that extra healing for yourself. Because the thing about Feral Druids is we get hit very hard. We're gonna get nuked. Without being in bear form, which typically we don't really use bear form anymore unless you're getting like stunned or nuked. Guardian Affinity allows you just the 6% damage reduction, and then just using Feral Frenzy Region is pretty big if you're in a group or setting. But when you're by yourself, you need Rest Affinity. You have to go Rest Affinity. Because like I said, and I'll say this a lot, we're kiting. I'll say this over and over again, we kiting a lot. You're in danger, you have 3 people following you, you root them all, you're going to be casting Rejuvenations on yourself, you're going to get your instant regrowths off, your Swift Mends are going to get you almost back up to full, and when you're back at full HP, you go back in. And you rinse, repeat, and you go back in, and then damage a bit, oh I'm too low, let me go root them all again, and then we go back out and heal myself. Rest Affinity is so good for being a solo player and staying alive. Extra healing is huge. And plus it'll go with your Azerite traits later, and I'll explain later, but Rest Affinity, go it, please. Level 60, have to go Mass Entanglement. You can go Mighty Bash, like I said, it's kind of a Guardian Affinity thing. You can go Mighty Bash if you're in a group and you can afford to stun. If you don't have to CC and stay alive on your own, then you can go Mighty Bash all the way. It's really good for 1v1s. This is for 1v2s, 1v3s, so you want to do what I want to do. Because Mass Entanglement is your GL free card. It is the reason why you could stay alive. It's the reason why Ferals are still viable in those 1v2, 1v3 scenarios that I love to do. Because whenever I'm in danger, I just Mass Entanglement and I go the other way, and what am I going to do? Trinket? And I just run away. And I can go back in whenever I want to, so it's up to me. But yeah, Mass Entanglement, Mighty Bash, up to you. Depends if you're in a group or how many people you're fighting, 1v1s, 1v2s, etc. Level 75 trait. Now this is a fun one. I love Savage Roar. I get a lot of hate for this. Like, dude, people ask me in my comments, why are you Savage Roar? I'm so used to it. No, it's a weird thing. I grew up with Savage Roar. I've been playing Feral Druid for over 10 years. since the dawn of time when I first started playing in BC first came out, I've always had Savage Roar. It's such a common ability for me. I'm used to it. Now you can go Soul of the Forest for much easier gameplay. That way you don't have to waste your common points right away on a Savage Roar. Like you can go immediately into a Rip, but for me, I'll be using Savage Roar instead first. But the damage difference is actually you do more damage over time with Savage Roar. And I'm gonna get a little complicated right here. The reason why I love Savage Roar is because we're doing so much kiting in World PvP and Battlegrounds. When you're in danger, this increases your energy regeneration. So let me go blow my stuff, blow my load right here. And I really want to be empty with energy, because getting energy back really fast. Pop Savage Roar. And I'm running around, I'm kiting, and my energy regeneration, look at that, it's really fast because I have Savage Roar up. And I can go back in. By the time I go back in, I'll have full energy. A quick way to get more energy, because you're running around so much that you're going to have full energy every time you go back in. You don't really need Soul of the Forest is good for sustained when you're staying on the target, but we're not going to be staying on the target the whole entire time. And that's why where Soul of the Forest kind of falls off. Because you already have a 10% damage bonus, more percent damage bonus than Soul of the Forest. So technically speaking, you're going to get higher crits and do more damage with Savage Roar. Plus, there's one more awesome part of Savage Roar that people don't really realize, is that sometimes when I'm dying, I'm in combat, and I'm taking too much damage and I'm time for kite, so I do my massive entanglement, I'm running. Well, these common points are just sitting there. And I'm dangerous, say I'm at like 30% HP, and these common points are just sitting there being useless. Hold on to Savage Roar. Get your instant heal. You can get more healing on you. Because otherwise it's just sitting there and you're not going to use it. I mean, you could save it to go back in, but for me, it's just very useful. I mean, either way, say you're at full HP and you don't need to heal, and you get full common points again, running away. Make sure I get the instant cast. Get full commons again, you're running away. You had them all rooted up, right? And somebody else goes joins the fight. I can use that instant for an instant entangling roots, and then you can get more CC. It's just more CC and more utility and a Savage Roar. And of course, as King of the Jungle, I'll talk about this real quick. This is just for fun. If you want to blow people up and go completely insane on like 1v1, you just want to shred people to death and they'll just completely get evaporated, you can go and Carcination King of the Jungle. It's a 3-minute cooldown, but you're pretty much dead in the water outside of that 30-second window. How long does it last again? 30 seconds? Yeah, outside of that 30-second window, you're going to be like starved. So for 2 minutes and 30 seconds out of the time that you're not using King of the Jungle, you'll be like starved to death, like, where's my energy? Yeah, but this is just purely fun trade if you want to go it, but I'm not going to judge. Up to you. Your playstyle is your own. I would suggest getting used to Savage Roar. Otherwise, if you're a new player and you just don't really want to worry about too much, go Soul of the Forest. Sorry. Like I said, long talk. I can go forever talking about the talents trees. Level 90 tree. Brutal Slash. Go it. You have to. Single target. PvP. These are for PvE. Purely for mythic dungeons. You'll probably never in your entire life use Primal Wrath in a dungeon. Sorry, in a raid. In our actual raid setting, I've never actually had to go it. But these are just for Mythic Plus. But Brutal Slash for PvP. Hands down. Not going to talk any further. Level 100 tree. Now here's another long one, the same thing as the 75 tree. Blood Talons or Feral Frenzy. Blood Talons is fun. I love Blood Talons, and people hate it because it makes the Feral playstyle harder, but because it makes it more difficult and fun, reason why I play Feral. If there wasn't no Blood Talons, I would not be playing Feral. It's one of my funnest traits in the world. So if you're new to Blood Talons, how Blood Talons works is simple. Every time you do regrowth or an instant cast or Entangle Roots, you get a stack of Blood Talons. And the next two damaging abilities you do, whether that be a full common point Rip or a Rake, does 25% extra damage. And the reason why the playstyle is a bit difficult to learn is because it's simple. Like, I'll be going like this. I have full common points, right? I don't have Blood Talents up here yet, so I'll do a Savage Roar. And here's my instant cast. I have a little Weakaura for that. And you have to wait till you get 5 common points again, and then blow it. And then I have the 25% damage bonus for my 5 common point Rip. And my Weakauras that I have show it when I have the empowered Rip. So see, like I'll give you guys a Weakaura package towards the end of it in the description of the video. But basically, this Weakaura shows when you have the 25% damage bonus of the Rip. See the little red corner on the Rip and the Rake? That means it has 25% extra damage, which is really cool. So the Weakauras are insanely important for this kind of stuff. But the thing about Blood Talons versus Feral Frenzy is you'll do such huge damage. So let me show you how high I can crit with Blood Talons real fast. Just really get in there for a nice little ferocious bite. So let's see how high I can crit this little guy. Get ready to go. 120,000 there, not too shabby. I could go for 120,000. I could probably do more if I do it right. We get some other buffs like a mastery multiplier. I can do more with my Azure traits, but without doing anything special, I can do 120,000 crit on a target dummy. Obviously, it's lower than PvP, but you get the point. Blood Talons is really awesome, but the rotation you have to get used to. Again, so you get the instant cast, but you want to save it. You want to save it till after you get the full con points, so you can blow it and then use your rip, and then you have two things for Blood Talons, so you can both empowered. But the thing about the difference between Blood Talons and Feral Frenzy, so I'll talk about Feral Frenzy real fast. Let me switch over to it. Fickle Mind, Feral Frenzy. I love Feral Frenzy. Now, the reason why I usually should go Feral Frenzy, and I use Feral Frenzy all the time, it's for big bursts. You want to blow somebody up in seconds. And Blood Talons is for long-term fights. You'll do more damage over a long-term fight. Feral Frenzies is for nuking somebody really fast. These are for quick fights. If you just want to get in there, nuke somebody, and get out and run a little bit, that's when we go Feral Frenzy. So how Feral Frenzy works is you get instant con points. It gives you 5 con points almost instantaneously, and you can bite again. So the thing about Feral Frenzy is you can get 2 bites off very fast. Let me lower my sound before this Fire Mage blows up my volume with his fire spells. So I'm not going to do anything too fancy here, but basically with the Feral Frenzy, you can get 2 bites off very fast. So I have 5 common points, I'll bite, Feral Frenzy, and then bite again. So you can get 2 very quick bites off back to back, and that's without obviously doing anything special. But the real burst of Feral Frenzy comes from this, and I'm going to lead over into my Azurite, my essences real fast from Feral Frenzy, is Blood of the Enemy. And this kind of coincide with essences. Blood of the Enemy allows you to get 25% extra damage bonus, critical strike damage for 5 seconds. So it's only a small 5-second window that you get that 25% extra crit damage bonus. And it's impossible to get 2 bites off without Feral Frenzy. But with Feral Frenzy, in that 5-second window, you can get 2 big bites off. So say I want to do something really big, I want to do like over 150,000 damage to a player in 5 seconds. Easy. Alright, so with my build, I'll get my Savage Roar up. Awesome. And you can, get a little Thrash up in there if you're using the right balance. Alright, so this is it. I'll blow my load. I'll blow my Blood Talons. I got spec'd into it, so it doesn't matter. Sorry, ignore that. So I'll blow my Blood of the Enemy. And I'll bite. And I'll Feral Frenzy. And bite again. So that was 102,000 crits in a row. So that's 200,000 damage within a 5-second window. 200,000 within you can blow somebody up very fast with that. But it's simple. Whatever you want to do, prerequisites are up to you. But basically, you get your 5 common points, you use your Essence Blood of the Enemy, and then you bite, Feral Frenzy, bite again. You get 2 big 5 common point bites within a 5-second window. You're going to do over 80,000 damage each to a player, and you can at least do 150,000 to a player with even their current mitigation in seconds, and blow them up, half their HP gone. So Feral Frenzy is simple. Another thing about Feral Frenzy is this. You can also get a lot more healing out of it. Feral Frenzy allows you to not waste your heals right away. So I don't have to, without Blood Talons, I don't have to save my heal to wait for the next combo points or Blood Talons. I can just use it right away. And so you actually get more healing out of Feral Frenzy, because you don't have to hold that instant heal for the Blood Talons. So to reiterate, and I'll put it on the screen here, Feral Frenzy gives you more burst and more healing. Blood Talons gives you more damage over time, more long-term damage, but less healing. So it kind of goes back into the Mighty Bash, Guardian Affinity kind of combo. When you're in a group and you're going to have longer fights and you have the luxury of having less healing, then go Guardian Affinity, go Mighty Bash, go Blood Talons. But if you don't have the luxury to afford less healing, then go Resto Affinity, go Mass Entanglement, go Feral Frenzy. And the playstyle is up to you. You can mix and match what you want. But to reiterate one more time, Feral Frenzy, bigger burst, more healing. Blood Talons, more long-term damage. You'll do more damage over time, but less healing. Work it out, have fun with it, work on it, master it. Alright, that concedes talents. With that in mind, I'll move over to my PvP talents. They're right next to me. And I can talk for Honestly, I could go on forever for PvP talents and what's good and what's bad. But I'm gonna tell you what I love to use, and that's about it. Go leader to pack. Have to go leader to pack. Hey, two things. One, gives you more healing, and two, gives you a lot of crit. If you do not crit on those big ferocious bites, you do almost no damage. Critting is on those ferocious bites is so important. If you do not crit on your ferocious bites, you do almost no damage. You have to crit. So the more crit you have, and I have 39% unbuffed right now. That doesn't include any kind of like my Tiger's Fury if you're expecting the Jungle Fury at all. Increases your crit as well. 39% crit. So the thing is, you have to crit. Otherwise, you do not. So go leader to pack. Now you can. The only thing you could switch out here is Thorns. Thorns obviously is useless against casters, and you're gonna be fighting casters all the time. I'll be fighting like 2 Warlocks and a Mage. You're like, holy shit, Thorns is useless. What is this shit? I don't want it. Well, so you can actually go Freedom of the Herd or Rip and Tear or Savage Momentum. I go Savage Momentum for casters. It's really good for fighting casters. But when you're doing normal PvP, you're not going to know what you're going to fight. So, I mean, it's up to you what your loadout is, where you want to go. So I will either use Thorns or Savage Momentum. But the thing about Thorns, if you're using Thorns, is very, very important. It goes really well with using Resto Affinity, and here's why. People can Dispel. If you're fighting a class like a Demon Hunter, for example, which is a pretty common occurrence, they can Dispel you when you use Thorns, or when you're a caster, you're fighting a caster in a melee, they can still Dispel your Thorns. So if you're going to use Thorns, make sure after you Thorns or before you Thorns, you cast your Rejuvenations and a Regrowth on you. So if they try to Dispel you, they'll accidentally Dispel the Regrowth or the Rejuvenation, so they don't Spell Steal or Dispel the Thorns, because you don't want to accidentally have them Dispel the Thorns. Otherwise, it's just pointless. It's a really important playstyle for Thorns. Make sure you cast a Regrowth and Rejuve while you're doing it. Last thing is up to you. I love to use Ferocious Wound, and since we're biting a lot, since we're expecting a Feral Frenzy half the time, or 90% of the time, depending on your style, go Ferocious Wound. 16% less HP from the target is massive. That really geared guy no longer becomes very geared after you do 2 bites on them, because they have 16% less HP, which is really cool in my eyes. Really cool talent. Really interesting. Helps your burst, so towards the end of their life, when you want to do your little big explosion with blood of the enemy, and they'll pretty much just die. So it's up to you. I mean, if you want to have more fun playstyle Cyclone or Long Switches, you can, but this is my personal build for being more longevity and having more life and blowing people up. Alright, I don't even know how long that timestamp is after this while, but I'll take a little break and then I'm going to move over to Azerite traits, my favorite. Alright. This is not Azerite traits, this is Azerite essences. This is Azerite traits. These are Azerite traits. Like of the talents, I'm not going to go too deep on what's good and like what's bad and why you shouldn't go this, but I'm going to tell you what's good. There are the 2 main traits, and I'll show them up on the side of the screen, that you want to go for are this. You want to go for Jungle Fury, and where are you? Not my PvP build. This is wrong. Whip. Why can't I do that right now? Don't lie to me. There you go. You want to go Jungle Fury, and you want to go Masterful Instincts. So these are your 2 most important traits, and the most important trait for a Feral Druid is Masterful Instincts. You have to go it. I want you to go it. And now this is the longest part of the video, is why I'll talk about Masterful Instincts. Feral Druids, like I said, again, time and time again, we are wet noodles. We get hit so hard, you will die. But this allows you to stay alive a lot longer. If you have 3 times Masterful Instincts, I have 2 times Masterful Instincts, but if you have 3, which is really good, then you have a lot of armor afterwards. So what happens in Masterful Instincts after it gets used, so 50% damage reduction for 5 seconds, that goes away. Then for 30 seconds, I have 1500 armor, or 1500 mastery, and 2000 armor. That's what, like a 20% damage reduction on top of your previous like normal armor. So you pretty much have like a 20% damage reduction for 30 seconds after using Masterful Instincts. So 50% damage reduction with Survival Instincts, and then after that, 20% damage reduction for 30 seconds. So it's so good, and it just allows you to stay in combat more, and you don't have to run out as much to heal, because you have a 20% damage reduction. consistently, you know, against physical attacks, but still, it's still really good. That doesn't include the mastery bonus on top of that. So you know how I said, like, I could get my damage numbers even bigger? Well, with Masterful Instincts, you have 1,000 extra mastery on top of for 30 seconds. So what I would typically do if I want to go over a super burst with Masterful Instincts, I'll get my con points up, so we'll go for it again. I have a salvage for already. Let's get my Masterful Instincts up. So let me get that extra mastery here. So we're gonna go from 40% mastery right now to 83% mastery. So we're gonna do pop my blood of the enemy. We're gonna bite him, 120,000. Bite him again. That didn't crit, but so this is the part where I told you if you don't crit in your bites, you're gonna lose a lot of damage. But basically, I did 120,000 crit there because of all the extra mastery for 30 seconds. So it's a lot of extra damage for it. You have to go Masterful Instincts. So if you can get 3 times Masterful Instincts, do it. Secondly, if you can get Jungle Fury. So the 2 best traits that you want to use for PvP are Masterful Instincts and Jungle Fury. Jungle Fury gives you more crit for 12 seconds after using Tychus Fury. And like I said, crit is huge. You want to crit on almost everything you do. All your bites have to crit. But this is why Jungle Fury is so good. So Masterful Instincts and Jungle Fury are the ones you want to go for. As for minor traits are very hard to navigate because, you know, typically out of all since I've started playing BFA, I've not been able to get my perfect build. And my perfect build would be like Masterful Instincts and Jungle Fury on the same trait, which I don't even think there is any Jungle Fury, Masterful Instincts on the same piece of armor. I've never seen it before in my life. I haven't even done research on it or where it comes from. But RNG is RNG, so I can't even pray that I'll get it. But the minor traits are up to you. But in my opinion, one of the best minor traits that you can get, if I can even find it on my bars, I'm really going for every single piece. See if I can. There it is, Switch Hitter. This is one of the best minor traits for PvP, simply because of the Swiftmen. The Swiftmen gives you 27,000 absorption shield, cut in half in PvP, by the way. But you're Swiftmenning off cooldown all the time. The extra 15,000 absorption shield helps you a lot, keeps you alive. So if you have even like 3 stacks of Switch Hitter, that's a big absorption shield when every time you use Swiftmen. The problem is you're not going to be able to get the perfect minor traits on top of your perfect major traits. So that's Azure gear for you. But the most important thing, though, is Masterful Instincts. Please get it. Get 3 times of it if you can. It's amazing. All right, that concludes Azure traits. And with that, since we went really fast over this, I'll jump straight into essences. Essences are the new system with 8.2. And they're a lot of fun. I'm going to agree with this. They're a lot of fun, but they remind me too much of Legion. And I did not like Legion at all for World PvP, and the reason why I didn't like Legion at all was because the burst. There is so much burst in Legion. With the legendary system, rogues were 2-shotting you out of like 5 seconds into opening on you, just die immediately. Demon Hunters would crit you so fast, and you would just blow up in Metamorphosis, because Metamorphosis was a god tier ability. But basically, you get the point, is fights were so fast in Legion World PvP that you can enjoy it. I like long fights. I love having a nice long fight where you're fighting like 2 to 3 people at the same time, and you know you win eventually or you die eventually. But it's epic. I love long fights. But the Essence system is slowly destroying the long fights because people are blowing each other up so fast. Like case in point, with my Blood of the Enemy Feral Frenzy combo, where I just nuke people for 200,000 damage in 5 seconds. But point being is this. You can have fun with this, but the most important one, if you want to use my blow-up build, is Blood of the Enemy. It is so important for using the big crit build. Okay, he's at 30% HP, and let me just nuke him down to Blood of the Enemy. This can still really go well with Blood Talons, if you want to use Blood Talons as well. Still goes really good with it. Use Blood of the Enemy. But if you want to have fun, I recommend it. If you want to have fun, go have fun. Focus on the Essence Iris. Like, do it. Let me go switch to it right now. And if you have rank 3, it's even more fun because you can move around while you cast it. Hit my freaking thing, allow me to change my talents. I know I'm there. Don't you lie to me. I know I'm on top of it. You're like, waiting so long. Thank you. If you want to have fun, you can use Essence. If you want to use Condensed Life Force, do it. Crucible Flame, hell yeah. It's completely up to you. Like, or if you want to be really weird, use Ripple in Space. I only have rank 1 because I didn't want to do more Najatar PvP. But The only thing I'll really recommend is the most important thing for a Feral Druid, and like hands down, most important thing for a Feral Druid is you have to use Lucid Dreams. And outside of what kind of fun you want to do if you're big major trait, use Lucid Dreams, please. Being starved of energy on a Feral Druid sucks. And one of the biggest parts about playing a Feral Druid is for PvEs, you'll pull your energy. In fact, I forgot to tell you this back in the tips and tricks, is you want to pull your energy to Ferocious Bite as long as you're over 25 energy. Because it consumes for up to 25 energy for 100% more damage. So if you can pull your energy above 25, you don't want to bite anywhere beneath 25 energy. So sometimes you'll be going into a fight really hard, and you'll be starved, but you want to wait till you have at least over 25 energy to bite. So I'm starved, I'm waiting, wait, now bite. Otherwise, you're going to miss out on a big chunk of damage. So at least wait till about 30 energy, which I can see it on my Weakaura, before you bite. Very important. But Memory Lucid Dreams makes it easier because that refund for energy can even come back from a Ferocious Bite. So I've done Ferocious Bites at 50 energy before, and I got completely refunded. Basically, I had 50 energy almost instantaneously get back. So Lucid Dream is very important. I want you to go it. You have to go it. That's the only important trait that you need is the minor for Lucid. Otherwise, everything else, have fun. I don't care. You want to beam out the mouth like a kitty with a laser? Do it. Be a cat with a laser coming out of his mouth. Yeah, essences are still fun. They're not too overpowered yet. I love them. They're really good, especially if you're my Demon Hunter. That's a whole story of its own. But that's most of it. Talents, Azure traits, and PvP essences. And the last thing I'll go over with you guys is simple. Little tips and tricks and little stuff you need to know. If you're not an engineer, and you want to roll PP, go engineering, please. Engineering is so important for Feral Druids. Staying alive and getting that distance and running away. Rocket Boots are so much fun. Another reason why Rocket Boots is insane, because you know how often sometimes you have a Rocket Boot malfunction? Rocket Boot malfunctions are when you use your Rocket Boots and it shoots you straight up into the air. And really awesome for Feral Druids because you'll get put out of combat. So say you're really in deep danger and you're about to get nuked down by 5 players at once and you hit your Rocket Boots and it malfunctions and shoots you up in the air, which happens all the time, by the way. You can survive. It's simple, you'll survive because you can just fly away. And another really important trick, which I'll show you on the screen here, is that you're able to Shadow Meld Flight Form being a Night Elf. Let's go into races as well. It's included in my tips and tricks. Be a Night Elf, please. Night Elves are important. Best PvP, best feral race to be is Night Elf. Because of Shadow Meld. And I forgot to include this with my rotation or build, but this kind of goes with it. Shadow Meld is so important. Shadow Meld allows you to use Rake while stealthed in the middle of combat. So when you Rake out of stealth, it does 100% increased damage with Rake. So that little Rake there is doing 100% increased damage here. Pretty awesome. This goes really well if you're using Blood Talons, because you can combine Rake with Blood Talons, and that's 25% extra damage, that's 100% extra damage. You Tiger Sphere on top of that, that's 15% extra damage. So 15, 35, no, that's 40, so 40%, math is horrible, holy shit, 40%, 100%, so 140% extra damage is pretty big, it's awesome, with a Rake. So what you would do is, in the middle of combat, if you wanted to really blow somebody up during your phase, you can pop a little bit of a Tiger Sphere, and I'll pop Shadow Meld and then Rake out of it. So my Weakaura right there will show the purple icon, or the stealth buff, so it's taking 100% extra damage from that Rake with the little purple icon there. That's how you know it worked. You performed it well. Let's another thing with the Shadow Meld being Night Elf is huge. But I'm not gonna make you play Night Elf. You want to play Cold Tyrian because you look cool, because Cold Tyrans look badass. The freaking Druid forms are awesome. Even I did it at the beginning, but when I switched over to my Feral for my main, I was like, you know what? I need to be Night Elf. I have to do it again. I have to be Night Elf for my great escapes. And the thing of Night Elf with Shadow Meld is when you're running away and you're in the middle of combat, even if you're being attacked by 5 guys at once, guess what you can do? You can hit Shadow Meld and go instant fly form in the middle of combat while you're being attacked, while chaos bolts are flying everywhere at you. You can hit Shadow Meld and go fly up in the air. You can instantly hit fly form and fly away straight in the middle of combat. It's insane. It's for survivability. So basically every 2 minutes is a jail free card for a Night Elf. Every time. Gel-free card for a night elf, even if you're playing Boomkin, or God forbid you're playing Resto. Instant gel-free card. And another really good thing to do is, if let me get in combat here. Say you're in combat and you're trying to get some distance, really good for getting cutting distance. Say you want to root them and you want to run away. You can do a little leap and use a parachute. So I have a parachute in my cloak. 30-second cooldown. It goes really, it's always off cooldown for your wild charge. Maybe 2 wild charges, of course. So when you go wild charge while in combat, obviously you have a stag leap, so you do a little leap. But you can do this off hills and stuff, so you want to jump off a little hill here, do your parachute, you go pretty far, and it goes pretty good distance for kiting and running. So if you can go engineering, please go it. It's very important. Last thing I'll really go over, I won't go over gear too much, but trinkets are pretty important. I'm working on 2 big trinkets right now that I'm trying so hard to get. Right now I'm just using damage trinkets. I was messing around with Ink Pod, which is not too great for bursting people down. If you ever long fights, Ink Pod's really good. This causes you to blow up a target at 30% HP, all your stacks in them just blow up. And I take a big chunk of damage. Really fun to play around with, but not viable. But for me, I'm trying to live forever. And one of the best things I have is Razor Coral. This Razor Coral trinket from Lady Ashvane in the raid, so good. Ah, God, it does so much damage. It does so much damage. It comes from Lady Ashvane, Mythic, just for shits. Let's go to Feral. If you can get this trinket from the raid, it does so much damage. Please go it. Sorry, not please go it. Like you have choice. Please bless the RNG gods that you can get this trinket. But then the other trinket I love to use is a tank trinket. And what I really want right now is the one from Ashvane as well, the Bloodthirsty Urchin. So 10% of damage you take grants you healing, a big hot. So basically, kind of like the Coltiran Racial. You know, when you take damage, you get a little hot on you from the damage you take. Kind of like the Coltiran Racial, except this is bigger, way bigger. And more healing allows you to stay alive more, allows you to stay in combat more, and go crazy. It's the same thing when I used to have my Opulence Trinket, like the extra Absorb Shield that they nerfed a lot. It's only 400 now, so it's shit. So it's crap. But the other one I want is, tank trinkets are big, so it doesn't matter what class you play. If you can have tank trinkets on, it makes you that much more tankier, it makes you that much more stronger, gives you more opportunity to stay alive and then to go back in and do your nuts. Go nuts. But with that in mind, I don't know if you know how long I was talking, but that's the Feral Guide. If you have any questions, I will gladly answer them in the comments below. I know I'm working a lot, so I'm unable to reply to everybody, or let alone stream all the time. But if you have any questions, I'll promise for this video, I will promise to respond to it, because I'm sure I missed a few things, so you guys will notice it far before I do. Enchants are simple. If you guys have questions about enchants, send me yourself. If you're just doing PvP and not PvE like me, go Mastery. Mastery Versatility. Versatility is obviously awesome for PvP, but I mean, I do bunch of PvE, so I have to constantly go my PvE stats, not do my PvP stats, which doesn't make too much of a difference anyway, because, you know, asteroid rates. But otherwise, thanks for watching. I hope this guide was very helpful, and I wasn't going too fast. I know I stumble on my words a lot, but hope it was helpful. I'll try to be on more for streaming, and I have some other videos coming up. I know this took like 2 weeks to do. But thank you guys for watching, and for new subscribers and people who have been following me recently, thank you. I hope you guys enjoy my content. It means a lot to me. But I promise, the more will come. More will come. Have a good day, guys.